me. Kill that. Let's go. This is as live gets here today. So it's been one heck of a day. Oh, I gotta turn the light. It looks dramatic without the lights, right? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe another little crazy ass learning. Oh, how's that? Oh, good. Let me try another light. Hang on. We're right there. Who knew today was going to be about lighting? Oh, I can tell you one thing it is about too, and that is, let's go with that. Actually, that looks all right. There we go. Hey, got the right color thing going on there. It's all right. Uh, who knew it was going to be about lighting, right? That's what I was going to say before. Man, head's kind of spinning here today. Got so many things going on. It's all good. My papers are falling all over the place too. It's oh. So anyhow, what was going on? Well, we learned about lighting right now. We learned about set design. That's important. And I can tell you another thing too. I've mentioned this many times. There is such a difference between doing this stuff at home. I am home. If you haven't figured that out yet, I am home versus doing it inside of a studio setting. And you're going to learn a lot more about that too, because we'll be getting down to Donna Drake Media Network, be going down to the studio over there. We're going to shoot some video about the place, and then we'll kind of try to incorporate it in here, or maybe just do a live video, right from there, take you for a tour of the place. But there is something to be said about that. Look, many times I jump on over here like 2 minutes. Well, 2 minutes. Today was 2 minutes after 1, not 2 minutes in front of 1 o'clock. On that. Would that happen? Would that happen if you were doing a live? I'm sorry, if you were doing it in a studio? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're going to get there early. You're going to be prepared. You're going to get yourself set in. You're going to maybe have a microphone, a lapel mic to put on. Maybe not. Maybe you have that big microphone in front of you, as opposed to, maybe you have the big microphone in front of you instead of a little one. I might just get one for show. Oh, plug it in over here. Nice big mic. This way I look rough and tumble. Hey, here we are. Brian Cohen with big mic. But you're going to get yourself all mentally prepared. You're going to drive there, whatever. If you got notes, you're going to make sure you got your notes together. In some respects, this thing I do here, it's too easy. Dare I say? It's actually too easy because it's like, I joke that, I run into the living room. I ask my wife, hey, what am I talking about today? I can do that because I'm home. All I do is turn the computer on, basically, or actually hit another website. I go to StreamYard, throw it on, and boom, we're going. And half the time, forget to comb my hair, the rest of that stuff. But I would never do that. Never do that in a studio setting. Why am I telling you this? Because I know that many of you are interested in doing podcasts. Can you do it? The answer is yes. Can I help you do it? The answer to that is yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's many steps that you need to take before you're ready to go on air. And I can help you understand what those steps are. We need to discuss what you're trying to accomplish. We need to discuss where you're at with things. If it's product, if it's service, if it's you alone, if you're the expert, you're sharing all your information and you're just talking like I do for incessantly for 30 minutes. Or if you prefer to have guests on that are supportive of your business and do it that way. But you're going to wind up doing that in a setting where you're prepared. And as soon as you start having guests on, you have to be much more prepared for what's happening. And I can tell you, that's one of the things I just have not put that much time and energy and effort into. I will be, though, having this young lady on over the next couple of weeks. Delegation works. Ironically, delegation is what she talks about. Getting somebody else to do, not getting somebody else to do stuff, hiring somebody else to do stuff. How do you do that? How do you make that whole thing happen? How do you know who you can trust, not trust, et cetera? So she'll be joining us in the next few weeks. Definitely looking forward to that. But I can tell you that show, that program that I do there, I'm going to be a lot more prepared for than just flipping this thing on. And it's different. It's just totally different. Now, if you think that I'm totally unprepared doing this thing, that's not really true. I'm not really sure of what I'm going to be talking about a lot of times, like today, that I know he's going to talk about having the lights on and what that backdrop would look like or not. No. Or even being prepared or not. No, I just was kind of going, and I just want to share with you some of the exciting stuff that's going on. That again, as I told the gentleman I was speaking to today, I was like, "Hey, I just want you to understand that I have an idea, I have a vision, I just don't have the expertise. I'm trying to build the expertise around me that could actually make this thing a reality. I clearly know I don't know, and I'm looking to build a team around me that does know how to make it happen." Now, if you're an expert in your field or you're very structured, you're going to think, what in the world? Yeah, I could curse. Yeah, but I won't do that. But what in the world is that guy talking about? Talking about being prepared to get help. It's being prepared to work with a team. It's being prepared to let a conversation just go. So many times in the past, I've done things that I just had no idea what I was doing. We're going to say, hopefully, there's no incredible amount of jokes on that one, but without a doubt, there is. And I can point back to many things within Toastmasters that had put me in business. It's a little different. There's certain things you're going to do, and then you like, okay, how do I do this? You build a team immediately. Build a team immediately because look, there's one thing about taking a chance. There's trying a project out and see if it works, doesn't work. There's one thing about experimenting with a new product, maybe different kind of service to see if it happens. But you're going into that with a lot more knowledge than just doing. All right. My big did it without knowing anything was Toastmasters. Going back to, I had been in Toastmasters since 2004, and that's when I joined. I became president in 3 months after joining. Had no idea, had no clue in the world as to what the whole thing was about. Okay, you sit, you learn. We were a club of 4 people, so it was not exactly a big deal. But in 2009, I took on the role of conference chair. Ooh, that's a big deal, isn't it? Well, actually, it was a big deal. So I was the conference chair for our district spring conference. I had never run a conference before. I had only attended a couple. Remember, I joined in 2004. I didn't know there was anything beyond the club until something like 2005 or 6, let alone everything else that went along, let alone what running a conference is all about. I never did that. Did I stand up in front of people before that? Yes, I did. That was the whole idea of joining Toastmasters. Had a role at work where I was standing in front of people. Okay, so I got that aspect of it, but not putting together a project like that. I don't think I ever did anything like that. Not that I could remember. No real experience there, but you do things. And I knew I didn't know, so I just became a sponge for one, made assumptions, and then went and learned. But it was the same thing like when I did this, or even announcing the drag racing out there. I told the guy, I told Pete, it's like, Pete, I know of it, been a spectator. I had done that panel discussion with Dennis Catoni years ago for the JVC broadcasting. So I get the whole aspect of it. But to announce it, to talk about the cars, what's going on at the track, I was like, I don't have a clue. Don't worry. So was I unprepared? I was unprepared for what I was going to say, but I was not unprepared for that situation. The conference, was I unprepared? Yes, but I had the confidence of being able to communicate, and I had the understanding of listening, and I understood that I knew I didn't know what I needed to know. That's a big deal. Truly is a big deal. And that's another project working on, which has been the exciting portion of today. Spoken to a whole bunch of people trying to get a whole bunch of things done, promoting the whole idea of workforce, promoting the idea of helping students, high school students, be comfortable to get that preparation inside of them. This way, when it does come time for them to pursue a career, when it does come time for them to pursue a hobby, when it does come time for them to say, you know what, I've got this goal and it's crazy, but And the butt of the matter is, it's not crazy. How many times do you think people have told some of those, hey, I started my business in the garage and look at me now? You know, they're talking about those companies. How many times do you think they were told, you're crazy? Must have been 1,000 times. Come on, really? You're going up a behemoth like that? Really? Really? A desktop, a computer on every desktop? Come on. Really? Now we got a computer in every hand. I mean, who knows what's next? I know it's next. Star Trek. It's going to be right here. Hello? And you really make the phone calls and stuff like that. But crazy. But were they prepared for what happened? No, but they had that base. And that's the whole big thing here, having that base. So, students, what do they know? They know what they are, who they are. And if they don't know who they are, that is our role to help them do that. And that's the whole big excitement on my side of things, with doing these career days and with getting involved in some of these things. And I'm building stories to tell also about how exciting it can be when you step into this world of, I don't know. And I can tell you, this drag racing thing is so beyond what happens at the track. That's become the fun part. Kind of reminds me when, the marathon, running New York Marathon, right? You know what the fun part of that whole thing was? Running the marathon. The challenge and the effort was preparing for it, doing all the training and stuff like that. That was the challenge. But that day when you're doing it, man, that's the fun part. That's the whole thing out there. That's the fun part of it. But the work, the effort, the actual growth of everything that's around that whole thing is some of the stuff that's going on right now. And also the idea that it will help students see things in a much more exciting light in STEM, in manufacturing, aerospace, auto industry, construction, and so many of these other more technical careers that are available to them through programs right here, right at our local schools. I mean, it's just really amazing as that goes. So let's talk about you. Where are we at here? Oh, we got halfway through. So let's talk about you now. What about this crazy podcast thing? Can you do it? Are you ready to do it? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. How do you know? Well, I could tell you, you're further along with being able to do it than you might imagine, because you have the ability to communicate, and you're a better communicator than you think you are. And if you don't think you are, you're wrong, for one. Two is the fact that you have multiple places to go in order to improve your communication skills. Toastmasters being one of them. I will sit here and I will sing the praises of Toastmasters. Granted, there's a whole bunch of changes going on, right? They have changed. They've changed their learning program. Used to be all in book form. Now it's online. It's called Pathways. There's big changes that go along with that. There's a lot more information online, so you have access to that, videos, all kinds of things. The flip side of it, it was a lot easier just to pick up a book, and know what the speech was, read 5 pages. Now you got a whole bunch of other things to go through, and you got to navigate a website. All right, you got to learn how to do that. But, the program's there. The other side of it too is like in person, online, hybrid meetings, clubs that meet sometimes in person, sometimes online. Which one do you join? What do you do with that whole thing? It all kind of depends, doesn't it? Right? Now, since I'm talking to you about podcasts, that means you're on camera. That's right. Smile, you're on camera. So, online club or a hybrid club, but an online club might make a little bit more sense for you in that respect. Yeah, you're getting used to speaking on camera. So that's fine. But if you want to just get comfortable speaking and you prefer to stand in front of people and do it, then by all means, just get started with it. That's to get started with it. What if you are a good speaker? You want to be really more focused in your communication skills and stuff like that. Still fine. Find a club that is not just made up of people that are newer to, not newer to Toastmasters, because you're going to be new to Toastmasters too, but are newer to public speaking. And find a club that's got more what they call seasoned members in it. In other words, folks that have been around for a while. Maybe find a club that is focused on speakers that are looking to become professional speakers, or there are teachers involved in there. Maybe there's motivational speakers that are part of the whole thing. Maybe there are folks in that club that do video seminars. That's a great group of people for you to be affiliated with and get feedback from. The clubs are all over the place. You can find a club with the right personality, but Toastmasters is a good place, maybe even a great place if you're biased, to start, in that respect. Another aspect or another group to go to would be, of course, Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie's got many, many, many locations throughout the area. There's one right here on Long Island. They are giving a presentation at the HIA with the Hype Committee. That is coming up soon. I don't have the date. Maybe I could look for the date while we're chit-chatting over here. But they are, let's see if I can find that as we go. I'm going to hit up Dale Carnegie. That's going to give me like quite a bit. But they are giving a presentation over there. Dale Carnegie. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Dale Carnegie Training, Long Island. And let's see if they've done it. And the answer is no, it's not on their website. It's probably on the HIA website. So I'll get that information. But Dale Carnegie, another one to go. So Toastmasters, you're getting feedback from your peers. Dale Carnegie, you have more of an instructor and your peers that you are able to interact with. Okay, that's good. But you're saying that you're good at that, and you want to try something a little bit different. How about comedy? Really? Really? Yeah. How about comedy? How about a little improv comedy? You got a number of the Long Island improv classes are taking place. I can get you information on that, or just Google it. Do that. I believe also that the Governor's Comedy Club is doing comedy, and they'll teach you how to do comedy, but to do a stand-up routine, totally different. Totally different. Improv comedy. What is improv comedy? Improv comedy is totally unscripted. You're doing it with a couple of people, maybe one other person, maybe three other people, maybe a whole group of other people, where you're all on stage together. And you got this crazy story going on, and you're just going back and forth. What you're doing there is that you are learning how to think and speak at exactly the same time. Part of the reason why I'm able to turn this thing on at 1 o'clock and just kind of go with it, is that I've learned to be comfortable adapting to whatever at that given moment, flat out at the given moment. And let me tell you, that has helped me out quite a bit in doing this, in other podcasts, in being able to interview guests that are on there too, because we're not doing straight questions. I did that once. I was given a list of questions. I'll never do that again. You tell me where you want to go. That's fine. We'll have a conversation the whole way through. So thinking and speaking at the same time. Same thing with the drag racing, right? Do I know exactly what the outcome of any of this stuff is going to be? Absolutely not. It's a matter of going on, right then and there, and then being able to talk about something immediately. That's key to the whole thing. On the public speaking side of things, you're in front of a group of people. Absolutely. Best example of that. Gentleman was giving a speech. Wasn't me. It was a seminar, a very serious seminar about their expertise. And then somebody leaned against the wall and the lights went out. It's like, oh my God, do you panic? No, absolutely not. What he did is he made a massive joke out of the whole thing. What happened is that lights went out, got everybody's attention. He made a joke, got everybody laughing. Everybody was back focused again on him. Actually, it was the greatest thing that could have happened because it brought everybody's focus back together again. Humor is incredible. It is incredible. Find a way to add humor, not jokes, but add humor into your presentations, especially if you could use it where you're trying to make a point. People remember it. They're going to remember the punchline. They may forget the setup. They may forget all of that stuff, but they'll remember that punchline. They'll remember the story that kind of surrounded it. They don't have to remember the words. Look, if the only thing you took out of that last story is you remember some guy leaned against the wall, the lights went out when the person was speaking and he recovered. That's fine. I mean, I just pictured, well, I was in the room so I could see the room, but I bet you could see the room too. So if you're giving a presentation, you're doing a podcast, whether it be just voice, or if you're doing it with video and voice, or you're standing in front of a live group of people, and you could add some humor into it, massively impactful. It's incredible. So improv is important. Doing the governor's program where you're learning your routine also is good, because you know what's going to happen is the fact, and that is a flat out comedy routine, right? Is that you're going to learn what's funny, what's not. You're going to learn how to take a serious story, because I haven't done it. I got a number of friends that have. You take a serious scenario or a scenario, and then you find ways to twist some of those items in there to make the funny out of it, to get the humor, to get the laugh. In that case, you're going for the laugh, not even the humor. If you give me a serious speech and people are there for a seminar, you get people to laugh. That's or to smile. That's good. It brings them in. Get them to laugh, even better. But it's not necessary. It's not expected. And I can tell you, on a very serious presentation, you make a little bit of a funny, people laugh because they're just not expecting it. So you don't have to be that funny. It's just that the situation is that serious. So it just comes across as being funnier, more ironic than anything else. But doing that class with governors, I think it's Rich Isaacs that does that. I'm not 100% sure, but you learn how to find humor in different things. So that's good, and that'll help you in your confidence building. That's what it'll do. It'll help you prepare to do a podcast, because you'll have the confidence to deal with any situation. Lights going out, a guest that is just not good, one that rambles on too much, one that doesn't talk enough. You'll have the confidence to deal with any scenario, because you've done improv and you've been in the wildest of situations, and you've learned how to think and speak at the same time. Or you've done comedy and you've learned what can be funny if somebody's speaking, your guest is speaking and they're droning and they're boring, but you might find something they said in there that you could twist a little bit and get the humor out of it. But having that base of being comfortable in front of a group, or being comfortable in front of a camera, that's one of the greatest things about Toastmasters. You get a chance to do this and you're with your peers, and it's, just within that club and all the rest of that kind of stuff. So you get a chance to try different things, just like I tried with running that conference, just like I tried when I joined to become more demonstrative. I made believe I was a rock. How's that for demonstrative? Well, I wasn't just an ordinary rock. I was a rock from Connecticut. That's right. And I was transported from Connecticut down to Long Island. Matter of fact, I even formed Long Island. I was separated from my family. Oh my gosh, with this big white wall coming down, it just broke everything apart. And then it dumped me over here. I was explaining actually the creation of Long Island, the Ice Age, and those glaciers that came down and made the deposits over here. Found that fascinating. So that's how I did it. It was different. It was definitely different. We didn't record that one, so you can't see that one. But every once in a while, I kind of redo that one. Maybe I'll try to redo that at tomorrow night's meeting on camera. Might be a challenge. I only have one camera. It's stationary. I don't know how to really do that, but it would be interesting to kind of learn how to give that speech again. And maybe that'll be the speech I try to do. I have to give an icebreaker speech, introduce myself to everybody yet again in one of the paths that I'm doing. It'd be interesting to go and do. So what about your podcast? So now that you've got the confidence to go and do this thing, how do you do it? Here's a few things you need to decide now that you've got the confidence to do it. One, are you an expert, or are you sharing your expertise? If you're an expert, that means you probably don't have any guests on. That's just you. Should you go for a half an hour? Should you go for 2 minutes, 5 minutes? Depends. Depends what you're trying to do. Well, maybe you just want to do a 2 to 3 minute video on a daily basis and share your thoughts on something. Easy enough to do. How do you do it? Pretty simple. Get a notepad. Yeah, we're back to that notepad, that old-fashioned notepad. I got one back here someplace. Every time your client asks you a question, write it down. Every time a prospect asks you a question, write it down. Anytime your friend, family, spouse, anybody asks you a question about your business, write it down. Write it down. When you get your 52 questions, and you will, plus a few of your own that you want to throw in there, you've got yourself 52 different episodes. Easy enough. What do? Give me a call. We go figure out the length of it. If you're going to do 52, you want to do it on a weekly basis, see if you can respond to those questions 2 to 3 minutes. And all you have to say on camera is like, these are the question of the week. This is one of the questions that I normally get. How do I approach whatever? And then you go into a 2 to 3 minute response on it. You can record it at home if you so wish. You want to use a studio, fantastic. We go over to Donna's place, Drake Media Network in Millville, and we record it over there. And you know what you could do? You can record all 52. That's a lot. I don't know if I would do that all in one sitting, especially on a first go at it. But you can record for a couple of hours all these different episodes, get them edited, cut apart, whatever. You now have a year's worth of video. And I wouldn't do it in one sitting. I'd probably do it in 3 or 4 sittings, depending upon your experience or whatever. But anyhow, you have now, let's call it in 3 different sessions, you now have a year's worth of weekly comments that you could share. Easy enough? Relatively speaking, easy enough, but that's good. What if you want to share your expertise? You're not an expert. Well, you're not an expert in what you would talk about, but you want to bring out your expertise and bring on different experts. All right, now here's a way of doing that. Let's assume, I know who to use here. Let's assume you're in the home cleanup business. Well, who do you get referrals from? Anybody that's real estate related. Anybody that's real estate related. Could be the mortgage company. It could be a refinance company. Maybe not as clear. Real estate agents, absolutely. Landscapers, sprinkler installers, driveway repair people, window replacement people, a multitude of people that are touching that house that might become good referrals for you. Now, what you're going to do is you're an expert in your area, but you're not sharing your expertise, but you want to bring out the folks that you work with, the people that are affiliated with it, and the expertise that you're ultimately sharing is, how can I better my home? How can somebody better their home, and who do they go to do whatever it is? The landscaping, the sprinklers, the windows, the roofing, whatever. Interior wiring. Yeah. And my friend Matt on that one. Interior wiring for the home, whatever it might be. Could be lighting on the outside. That would be Mr. Puccio. Yeah. But whatever. Now you can have a whole multitude of guests. Can you do that at home? I use StreamYard. Yeah, you could do that at home. You could do it in the studio. Absolutely. It'll look more professional in the studio. Everybody be more prepared. A little bit more energy, effort goes into it. A couple of extra dollars go into it. It's a different product that you're going to wind up with, in the end. Will it be good for your social media? Absolutely. I'll let those people share their expertise on that one. I'm not going to. But here's what I am going to tell you, is that you have got so many possibilities. There's so many different ways of doing things. We just have to be aware of those opportunities, and we need to be ready to take advantage of those opportunities. And I know you will. There's so many ways of doing it. Most important thing is to take that step and try something different. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's not a failure. It's a learning experience. Maybe a less than desired outcome, that's fine. But it's how we grow. Don't be afraid of growing. Never be afraid of growing. Hey, if you want to chat about this stuff, let me know. You want to grow? You want to share your stories growing? Hey, I got this podcast called Tomato Talk. It's top of mind, advancing through opportunities. Let's share a few of those stories. There's so much to do. So much to do. And you know how you're going to do it? By speaking well, speaking often, and living inspired. And as you do that, others will do exactly the same, because you, my friends, are an inspiration.